Welcome, everyone. Great to have you here with us this morning. And we're looking forward to our second power session with Nadia. Thanks, Nadia. Really appreciate you running this for us. And it will be a similar format to last week, where Nadia will go through her presentation and then answer all your questions. So just keep them, pop them in the chat box, and we'll address them once she's done her presentation. Thanks, Nadia. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Okay, let me, oh, sorry, Lisa, would you mind allowing me to share my screen? Thank you. Sorry, okay. Okay, can you all see? Is it good, Lisa?
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Cool. Okay, hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you again, Lisa and ORT Jet, for having me. Before we begin, I just want to say thank you so much for interacting with me and asking those great questions last week, and for sending in your feedback. I really appreciate it. I know there is a lot of information to take in. I want to share with you as much information as possible about the various tools available to help you with your social media strategy. Information is so powerful, so my goal is to equip you with as much knowledge as possible, give you as much information as I can in these short power sessions, so that you can either seek out the right people to help you, or seek out the right information online with tutorials and courses, or maybe something has totally clicked and you are ready to start your social media strategy. From some of the feedback I received, what was evident is that some of you are looking for ways to create content quickly. Now, if your business does not heavily rely on social media, then creating content quickly is the way to go. But if your business does rely on social media, then you will need to put in the time. Content without a strategy, without thought, won't get high engagement. Essentially, what you will be doing is merely staying active on your social media channels. Number one, so before I start with any client's content plan, we start with a marketing calendar. This allows me to understand what the company wants to promote for the month and what products they have available and anything new that's happening within the business. But it also allows me to plant a seed in prompting my clients to think of really great promotions or content pieces we can work on for the month. So this is an example of a marketing calendar that I work with. I can send you this framework in an email, and you can use it and obviously customize it for yourselves. But if we just start with the influencing themes for the month, such as Spring and Heritage Day, for example, that's happening in September, we can start thinking of content around this. Then we can maybe slot in a promotional to go with the theme for the month. Then announcements or anything new happening in the company or happening in the world that influences the business. You can see that once you start plotting these thoughts down, it begins to generate post ideas. This is how I start to create content. Then I make sure that the content aligns with our pillars, and then I boost and promote content accordingly. You can even slot in here like which posts you want to promote. You can also from here decide, the main communication pieces are maybe going to be in a newsletter and an emailer, but then you would also have an accompanying social media post to go with that. Number two, have a minimum of 3 pillars. Create at least 1 to 2 posts from each pillar. That's the minimum you have to do just to stay active and to make sure that you've always got stuff happening on your social media channels. Obviously, it also helps with your Google search so that people know that your company isn't stagnant and that you are still active. For example, maybe if your business is an NGO, the content pillar examples I gave you previously wouldn't apply to you. So instead, try a pillar like commitments. Within this pillar, you can sort of explain what your organization does and how it benefits the community. This can be photographs from past events, stock images, or infographics created in Canva. Try accomplishments as a pillar. What has your organization achieved? Literally can just be a sentence. Tell your audience how they helped you achieve these accomplishments. You can use Canva for this too. Maybe add in a question like, did you know we helped 100 individuals create a business plan through our leadership program? Then your post caption can elaborate a little bit more. You could also still use the inspire pillar, but instead maybe use inspirational quotes or anything that sort of resonates with your business, and create a very simple post just from an inspirational quote. And then user-generated content, but rather call it industry leaders. So any industry leaders that sort of align with your organization, why not get them involved in helping you create content? And the way that you can get them to do that is maybe asking them some questions that they can answer, and then ask them to send them like a photograph of themselves. And then from the answers that they give you, you can create a post from that. So finding ways to get people to assist you in creating content makes it much easier to get content out quicker. As an NGO that maybe hosts leadership events, for example, you could interview your host from past events and even past event goers with standard questions that they can answer. This will assist in creating content. So for example, Lisa could ask me some questions, I can answer those questions, and you can create a little post from that. Or even use some of the content from this presentation that I shared today in a post. Number 4, don't over-design your posts with Canva. I know how much time it can take putting a whole lot of information into a Canva template. It is not worth it. Your creative assets, like the image in your post, don't need to have all the information on the post. That's what the captions are for. This might be taking up all your time when creating a post. Canva is great, but it can be time consuming. So in Canva, just have a template per pillar. So a standard template that you would use per pillar. That way, you don't have to keep creating a new template and thinking of a new design, and then also putting all that information into that post, because that's not necessary. Something simple, a beautiful image will work just fine. Inspirational quotes, free stock images with text overlay, or even a simple design with an infographic will serve you better than an overly designed post that took you hours to put together. If you're struggling to constantly come up with imagery, color blocks with a simple message allows you to keep active. Get a message across, but keep your social media feed looking good. Make use of free stock images. Place a simple inspirational quote over the image. Places like Unsplash and Pixels are great free stock image sites where you can really get some beautiful imagery that doesn't look too overly done. It's very casual images. It's a really great place to look for photographs to use on social media. Okay, quick recap from our last session. Focusing now on your boosting and advertising budget, as well as how to measure the success of your social media presence. The approach that can work for any brand with any budget, quality over quantity. Rather take the time to ensure the quality of your content is good, if not awesome. Try post 2 to 4 times per week and allocate a small amount of budget, even 50 to 100 Rand, to promote each post. Boost posts for engagements, for profile views, or page likes, and for link clicks. Do one of each every month at least. So it's because of this that less than 5% of your audience will actually see your content organically. We have to consider boosting our content. None of us, unless you are a social media influencer and this is your full-time job, can afford to spend all your time creating 2 to 3 posts a day, uploading stories and reels consistently throughout the day to try and beat the algorithm. It's just unrealistic. The simple way to get in front of your existing audience and reach new audiences is by boosting your content. Post less, but post better content and boost it. That way your content works harder, lasts longer, and reaches further. I'm going to quickly take you through the very powerful tool, Facebook Business Manager. You don't have to use this, and you can continue to just use the boosting method, but this is for those that really need to understand everything on offer to make social media really work for you. So if you go to your settings within your Facebook page, you'll see there's the page roles. You'll most likely see there is a page owner already. Facebook sometimes automatically creates a business manager for you if you have done some boosting in the past and if you have an Instagram business account. So you just go to the settings part, check out page roles, and then you'll see page owner. And as you can see there, Socialite is my Facebook business manager. If you do see that on your page, that your page has a page owner, then just go to business.facebook.com to access your business manager. It should be there if you've logged into your Facebook account and you open this website in a new browser, you will see your business manager there. If you are someone who's quite comfortable with apps and technology, then I recommend checking out some YouTube videos to find out how to get this organized so that you can start advertising on your social media with all the tools available. If some of you would like a bit more information about Business Manager, please pop it in the questions and I'll happily talk through it more with you, or you can just drop me an email and I can guide you. I'll take you through the reasons why this might be something that you would want to look at, specifically for those that are selling products online. Doing it through Business Manager would be sort of quite important for you. It doesn't take too long to organize it, but it is quite important to do so. Before you create an ad, first consider what your business goals are. It's important to know what you want to achieve in order to choose the right ad objective. Your ad objective is what you want people to do when they see your ads. For example, if you want to show your website to people interested in your business, you can create ads that encourage people to visit your website. The 3 broader categories of ad campaigns are awareness, consideration, and conversions. Before you begin your boost or campaign ad, think about what action you want your audience to take and what your business goals are, and decide if the post should be boosted for brand awareness, consideration, or conversions. So these 3 different categories, awareness is probably one of the cheapest in the ad objective world, and then consideration is a little bit more expensive, and then conversions is a lot more expensive. The way that it works is that the more you ask of a user, the more it's going to cost you. So if you just want to show your brand in front, get your brand in front of people, it's not going to cost you too much money because you're not asking a lot of the user. But if you want the user to maybe go to your website or engage with your content or fill out a lead form, that's going to cost you a little bit more because you're asking the user to do something, to perform an action. So Facebook is going to try and deliver that content to the right people. So it's going to cost a little bit more to get to the right people. Then conversions is just the next tier in what you want, an action that you want your user to take. So conversion would be something like a purchase, or you want them to take a specific action on your website, you want them to sign up to something, you want them to view some content. But conversions, I would stay away from that unless you have a good understanding of your business manager and you've got your Facebook pixel running, etc. It's not necessary for all businesses. What you should be focusing on is awareness and consideration. Awareness. These ad objectives generate interest in your product or service. Increasing brand awareness is about telling people what makes your business valuable. Increase people's awareness of your business, brand, or service. Show your ad to as many people as possible in your target audience. This ad objective helps you to increase reach and channel likes and followers. Consideration. These ad objectives get people to think about your business and seek more information. Send people from Facebook to any destination you choose, such as your website's landing page, a blog post, if you have an app, or to your Messenger. Messenger is a great ad objective if you don't have a website, but you want to get people to interact with you, and you want them to ask more questions, but you don't have a place to collect that information, then get people to send you a message. Conversions. These objectives encourage people interested in your business to buy or use your product or service. So if these are your content pillars, you want to start monetizing on these pillars and get this content to work for you so that you can get the most out of the time spent in creating this content. You'll be pulling your audience in with authentic content, gain and retain your followers with your inspire, mission, and engaging content pillars. Boost this content to gain new followers, to drive your existing followers to your website, and to keep them engaged with brand awareness and consideration ad objectives. With user-generated content and content that talks directly to your product or service, push or rather drive your audience to take a specific action through to your website with learn more, shop now, sign up, etc. call to actions, with consideration and conversion ad objectives. There is a simple recipe to follow that works for any brand. These are the areas you want to focus on increasing and building with your paid ads. Run monthly Facebook like page ads and Instagram view profile ads. Boost posts to reach a new audience and to reach your current followers. Boost posts for engagement to increase demand and interest. Boost posts with the traffic objective to increase traffic to your website or where you would like your users to go, sending you a message or taking them to your website to monetize on your increased engagement and reach. So what should you be measuring, and what should you be including in your monthly report? Doing a monthly report really helps you to decide what content is working, what isn't, what should we be doing more of. So these metrics, or these metrics that you should be measuring on a monthly basis is a good place to start, and just seeing how things move and change. The more you do a report and the more you analyze it with your other team members, things will just start to click and you'll build momentum. Like I said, it takes about 6 months to really, if you do 6 months of creating a report every month, And then after 6 months, you do a complete review of everything. You know, you've been boosting your content, you've been sticking with your pillars. Then you can see after 6 months, okay, what is the next 6 months going to look like? So then you stop wasting time on things that just don't resonate with your followers. So impressions, the total number of times your content was seen can count a single user more than once. If you spend the same budget each month, you want to see this growing. This indicates that your target audience is getting better and people are resonating with your content. If it is increasing and your budget is the same, you're doing something right. So if you spend the same amount of money, but your impressions keep getting higher, meaning more and more people are seeing your content, this means that Facebook is really liking your content because users are seeing it, are engaging with it. So if this keeps increasing, it just shows you that you're on the right track. But things fluctuate from month to month. But you just want to see a steady growth in your impressions. Reach, the total number of unique users that are seeing your content. This is counted after a couple of seconds of your content being seen, and Facebook will consider this a valuable reach. Engagements, any interaction with a piece of content, including reactions, shares, comments, and clicks. This can fluctuate heavily each month, and it is a very valuable way to see if your content from that month is performing well or not. Engagement rate, how quickly a user who saw your content engaged with your content. This again indicates the actual performance of your post. If engagement rate is good, boost that content and post more of that content. Channel growth, the net number of new followers you have gained on your social media channels. This is very important. Expect organic increases in likes if you're posting consistently, but you aren't boosting, to be anything from 10 to 50 new followers. But seriously, your content has to be amazing for this to increase organically. Click-through rate, how many users are clicking the links included in your content. This is calculated by how much reach your content received divided by the number of people who clicked on a link in your content or on your social media channel. Link clicks, the number of clicks on links within the ad that led to advertisers' specific destinations on or off Facebook. So depending on how you engineered your post for Learn More or Shop Now, Facebook calculates how many people clicked on that button. Okay, let's quickly walk through the user journey from social media to your website. So this is your potential audience. It's everybody who is on social media. Now you want your social media channel to be seen by a potential audience. You will narrow down your potential audience using interest targeting. So things like age, gender, location, and interests. Think of things your audience would be into. For example, a camping brand would target users who enjoy the outdoors, who buy camping gear, who like hiking, etc. You want this audience to start following your social media channels, but you have to talk to them. You have to get out there to those people so that some of those people will start following your social media channels. Now you have an audience who have already shown interest in your business. But ultimately, you want to get this audience to your website or anywhere to track your acquisitions. So you have to start talking to them again. Reach them by boosting your content to them. Get them excited to want to interact with your business again. Drive them to a specific destination on your website so that you can convert this audience to a sale, inquiry, or booking. Now, only some of this audience will stay long on your website. This is why it is so important to consistently improve on your website and the whole user experience. And then only a few cue from that audience will take an action on your website. So it is vital that you are constantly making your brand seen on social media, but also important that you are consistently growing your followers and driving as many people to your website as possible. So I'm going to quickly take you through the e-commerce funnel and why it's so important. And this explains why it's so important to drive traffic. You can see that the funnel dwindles quite dramatically from interest to a conversion. This is why you have to put paid money into your post and really drive traffic. The same concept can be said for your social media channels and your content. Not everyone seeing your content will take an action. So you've really got to showcase your brand to as many people. Try and think of the sort of actions you want people to take, and only some of those people will actually take an action and go to your website, and then it will just keep dwindling from there. So some of you might have heard about this or just kind of subconsciously know the concept behind it. Simply put, the Facebook pixel is a little piece of code that Facebook gives you that is unique to your brand, which you place on your website. It collects data that helps you track conversions from Facebook ads. It helps you optimize ads, build targeted audiences for future ads, and remarket to people who have already shown some kind of interest in your business. This drastically helps the quality of your audience you're trying to reach, and in turn ensures a much better return on investment. So within Facebook Business Manager, this is the place where you would add your pixel. It's very easy. It's a very simple thing to do. Like I said earlier when I spoke about Business Manager, if you are an e-commerce business and obviously selling product online is number one for you, you really want to make sure that this pixel is set up. This pixel collects so much information about your users. So the pixel tracks every step a user took from your social media channels. It can track what they did on your website, and it can gather information about who they are, where they live, and what their interests are. That way you can use this information later to target people similar to those who have already made a purchase, for example, or you can retarget those who did make a purchase. As you can see, once activated, you can start collecting this information on specific actions users took when going from your social media ad to your website, which then allows you to retarget these customers later on. What happens is you add the pixel, and then you tell the pixel what pages on your website you want the pixel to track. So now in future, if I wanted to target people that just added something to cart, but they didn't complete a transaction, they didn't put in their payment information, we can create an ad and distribute it just to those people who added to cart. But just the add to cart is already a step above someone who just viewed a piece of content. So those people are quite valuable, and you do want to get in front of them as much as possible. So here's a recommendation on how to split your ad budget. Use 30% of your budget should be spent on brand awareness, which includes audience building, engagements, impressions, and reach. 50% of your budget should be spent on consideration and/or conversion ads. So ads that prompt users to take a specific action, like send a message or visit your website. 20% of your budget should be spent on retargeting ads, but this doesn't have to be retargeting ads using your Facebook pixel, like I just showed you, that whole complicated thing. It really doesn't have to be that technical. Rather, retarget to your existing social media audience. So what you will be doing with this is that here you're going to try and get a new audience, new people to start following you, to remember your brand, to think about your brand, then here you're going to be getting these people to take a certain action on your website, to start engaging with your content. And then here you're going to be reiterating your message in front of your existing followers, because remember, only 5% of your followers will see your content organically. So you want to make sure that those people who have already shown interest in your business can see your content. In conclusion, you want to systematically grow your following organically, but also rely on boosted posts and paid like page ads. This makes your other ads cheaper and more accurate. What I mean here is, if you have a large following of people, if you're constantly improving on your followers and likes, and you advertise your posts to those that already follow you, or people similar to those that follow you, you don't have to cast your net out too wide, because Facebook will make sure that it delivers the content to people who are similar to those that already are interested in your business. You want to showcase your brand as much as possible to new customers using brand awareness ad objectives. You want to generate interest and increase on demand by boosting content that did well organically. Boost this content for engagement to your existing followers, but also to new customers. You want to get existing followers to keep coming back to your website by boosting posts to this audience with consideration ad objectives. You want to use the data you have collected about your customers and the actions they took on your website to retarget customers with conversion ads. But this is only for those that are selling products online. And obviously, if you have your Facebook pixel in place and you've been collecting this data for at least 6 months to a year. Okay, I'm just going to go through the questions. How do you do this report? So what I like to do is go to the insights on Facebook. If you go to settings on the left-hand side of your Facebook page, you can see insights, and then just start exploring the insights that Facebook has given you. I like to do everything from a month-to-month basis. So at the end of the month, like today is my reports day. So I go through all my clients' social media channels and all their insights and collect information and just start. What works really well is if in your report you have the month before, so August, and then July compared to August. So then you have a good way of seeing what these metrics were in July compared to August. And then later on, after 6 months, you can do a comparison between all the past 6 months and seeing what increased and decreased. I would look at your posts, your top performing posts, and just keep track and make notes of the posts that did really, really well. The reports can be, the other thing is thinking about what are the things that are important to you. So if getting people to take a specific action on your website, like signing up to something or making a purchase or sending in an inquiry or making a booking, that you will need to look at your Google Analytics, which should, it's quite easy to have a look at that. Obviously, that's not my forte, but I can read and analyze Google Analytics, and I will include that in all my reports, because then you can see what traffic came from social media and make sure that you are constantly growing your traffic from social media, and then see what actions those people took on your website. there's so much there. It's quite a complicated thing, but just being aware of it and keeping track of it and looking at those analytics every month, and asking questions and you know, YouTubing something just to find out how to track something will get you the information you want for your report. What would your starting point be if you are starting a new business? So I would start with your brand awareness. So your main thing would be to obviously get new followers, people following your business. And I would concentrate on that for at least 3 months. And then obviously testing out your content. So testing out what content works and what doesn't. And then boosting that content for engagements to new people. I would only start retargeting to my existing followers once you start getting about 2,000 followers on either channel. Are we talking about Facebook and Instagram only? Are there other platforms? Yeah, definitely. For this conversation or these sessions, we are focusing only on Facebook and Instagram. The reason being is that Facebook owns Instagram. So when I talk about Facebook, I'm sort of talking about Instagram as well, because they're sort of one and the same. But I refer to Facebook because Facebook is the sort of bigger company, and it's where you do all your advertising from. So you can advertise from Facebook to your Instagram channels. Is there somebody I can chat with wordless experience? Chat you with wordless experience? Well, I don't know what wordless is. Is it WordPress, maybe?
Robert, would you like to just write in the chat box what you're referring to? Oh, WordPress.
Definitely. I can recommend someone. Lisa, I can send you the information to someone who can help with WordPress. I think that the first place to start is definitely your website. So understanding your website and making sure that you've got your Google Analytics sorted. So if your business is just starting out, the #1 place you look at is your website, because after that, you're going to be taking all your social media followers and potential new customers to this place where everything is going to happen. So you want to make sure that your website is as perfect as possible before you even start looking at social media. How do you know how long to boost a post for? It is a bit of a guessing game in the beginning if you haven't boosted before, but if it's a campaign or you're running a competition, you can boost for however long that campaign or competition is. The Facebook prefers it if you boost something for 2 weeks. If you're asking a lot from a user, like to go to your website and shop now, etc. This allows Facebook time to get this content in front of the right people. But things like engagements or brand awareness, you can really do that for 2 or 3 days of boosting. Can you go back to what you said about websites? Are you saying sort website out first before building a social media strategy? Definitely. Because your website is going to be the place where you're going to be driving all your traffic to. So if your website isn't where it needs to be and you're driving people to your website, but they're not enjoying the experience on your website, then you're going to lose those people for a long time. And also, it's going to mess with your analytics, because now you're going to try and boost your posts to those people again, but they're going to get irritated because they've been to your website and they didn't enjoy their experience there. So your website is #1. And again, it's something that you will consistently be improving on. The other thing is your website. whoever you're seeking to help you with your website should understand the Facebook pixel. They should understand Business Manager, and have a good idea of how to set that up for you. So this is why this session is so important, is because my goal is to give you as much information so you can ask these guys the right questions, and setting up your Google Analytics. So Google Analytics, your Facebook pixel, and integrating your shop to your social media channels. If you specifically an e-commerce website, these are things you can ask your website guys to do for you. Can you not rather drive people from your social media to message you directly? Definitely. This works so well. Some of my clients are, they run B&Bs and like Airbnb little getaway stays and things like that. And sending people to message them works far better than sending people to their website, especially if you're not 100% confident in your website to do the job for you, and you would much rather have a conversation with people, then sending you a message directly is perfect. It works really, really well. Websites can be expensive to build, and businesses may not have financial resources for this. Totally. There's Squarespace and what's the other one? Shopify, that are relatively easy to sort of manage yourself and create yourself, but you definitely don't have to have a website to sort of finish off the sale, etc. You can do it through asking people to send you a message, or so what you will be relying on here is your community management, the way that you interact with your audience and keep them engaged and keep asking them questions and getting them to send you messages and inquiries. So doing that all through Facebook is 100% doable. You definitely don't have to have a website to generate sales and interest, and it's actually much nicer. People do love to be able to talk to an actual human being, and they love to do it through Messenger. Or you can even, now Facebook integrates really nicely with WhatsApp. So you can have a WhatsApp business account, and you can, instead of promoting your posts to go to your website, you would promote your posts for people to message you on WhatsApp. I mean, I think this could be a whole another power session in how to promote your business without a website on social media. Maybe that's the next power session. But yeah, like I said, just focus on your community management then, and getting people to send you messages. Would setting up the pixel be important for an NGO, not selling a product or service, but advertising a service, asking people to click on an application form? I think so, because especially with an NGO, it can be quite difficult to find the right people through social media, whereas using your pixel can allow you to be a lot more accurate later on in getting the right people to sort of interact with your business. I do think it's important. However, I think if you do it now, you will only start using that information maybe in a year's time, but having it in place from the beginning is helpful. But I think the number one thing in general is just your content pillars, getting the right content, boosting your posts, getting followers, and getting people to engage with you and ask questions, be inquisitive, and use some of that content that, from people engaging with you, and create content from that, and just, staying active on social media and boosting your posts. And then obviously just reports and analyzing your social media and seeing what works and what doesn't. Yeah, I know it's a lot. But like I said, you know, if you're a small business and you're paying someone to do your website for them, just go through that checklist of things that they can do for you. If you're an individual who's relying on social media to sell their products with no website, then prompting users to send you a message. That's part of the consideration ad objectives that I spoke about earlier. So you really want to promote those posts for people to send you a message. And then the last thing is obviously looking at your marketing calendar and plotting that out at least for the next 3 months ahead, so that you're not in the moment on the day thinking, oh my goodness, okay, tomorrow's the first day of spring, what's my post going to be for tomorrow? Then that kind of content, you know, it's just going to be half-hearted. Maybe you could have been a little bit more clever with your post. Maybe you could have got people to enter a competition, or you can do a small little giveaway. Competitions are really a great way to get organic engagement, and then obviously get organic likes as well. So small little things that you can give away will really go a long way. I don't think you can any longer boost posts that when you ask them to follow you on Facebook, follow you on Instagram, and comment below on this post. The reason being is that Facebook doesn't allow you to promote its own platform. I know this sounds like really strange, but those posts actually don't get as much reach anymore. So what people are doing now is you can, you know, obviously get people to sign up somewhere on your website or sign up to your newsletter. If you are an individual and you don't have a website, the best thing I would say to do is to get a Mailchimp account, so that you can communicate directly with your customers through Mailchimp. Mailchimp also allows you to, if you wanted people to sign up to your newsletter, it can give you a unique URL and you can promote that in your competitions. Like I said, I feel like this is a whole nother session, and you know, in that session talking about how to promote your social media channels without a website, we could do a whole section on Mailchimp, because again, that's just another tier of your customers who are even more into or interested in your business than your social media followers. So that's another place where you want to communicate with your audience consistently. Would love a session on Mailchimp. Amazing. No, definitely. And this is so cool for me because yeah, I feel like I'm understanding a lot of you better, and I can give you more valuable content later on. But yeah, I think Mailchimp is a very powerful tool. And the way that you can integrate Mailchimp and your social media channels is very easy. Mailchimp allows you to, you can run certain promotions through Mailchimp, and you can advertise through Mailchimp as well. So you can get that content out there and get people to directly sign up to your newsletter. You can talk to them directly in their mailbox, and then you have a potential customer who you can directly talk to without having to, again, cast your net too wide. Yeah, and you can also include like a sign up button on your Facebook or Instagram account with Mailchimp. Yeah.
Nadia, because we're talking about Mailchimp, I use it a lot with my communication with our network. that's how we send out our invitations to all our events. But what I do find is that it seems to often end up in junk or spam. So I know this is not about Mailchimp, and I don't want to use up this valuable time on it, but I don't know if you've got an answer or suggestion regarding that issue. Other people might be experiencing it. And then I also noticed there's a question here from Nadine about which e-commerce platform would you recommend for drop shipping?
Shopify. Shopify is, I don't know what drop shipping is though. Do you mind maybe just elaborating on that part for me?
Nadine? Okay, we'll wait for her.
Okay.
Maybe she'll.
But regardless, Shopify is super simple. And it integrates, it's got all the tools available to integrate with your social media platforms. You can do everything from Shopify instead of doing it the other way around with WooCommerce and Squarespace, all those different platforms. You have to do it through your social media channels, whereas with Shopify, you can do it from Shopify. It's a really great platform. Drop shipping is a fulfillment method where a store doesn't hold product. Okay, I understand. Is this, I don't know if it's maybe a delivery thing, like how to get your, no, anyways, we can perhaps discuss this out of this, no worries. Okay, cool. I do think maybe Shopify, but I'm not 100% sure, but maybe I need to understand it a little bit better. So yes, we can definitely chat afterwards. And then we've got a question, is a free Mailchimp account good enough? Yes, definitely. It's totally worth it. It's very hard to get over 2,000, I think it's 2,000 subscribers before you have to pay for a Mailchimp account. Yeah, like if you be very smart with your audience, make sure that you've got the right people in your audience. If you want to continue just using the free account. Another great platform is OmniSend. I'm just sending that to you now. It's also a way to send emailers, and their pricing structure is a little bit different to Mailchimp. But just make sure you look at all the pricing options and then think about how many subscribers you actually want to have at the end of the day, and then just use the platform that's going to accommodate what your goals are. However, Mailchimp is the best for now, but all these other platforms are just getting better and better. So like Shopify wasn't the sort of platform to go with maybe 5 years ago. It seemed a little bit clunky and it wasn't as powerful, but now it's fast becoming like one of the best platforms to use for creating your e-commerce website. Yeah. Is there anything else? Did I miss any? No.
Any final questions for Nadia? We've got 5 more minutes.
Hi, can I ask a question? Sorry, it's Stacey, not Adrian.
Go for it, Stacey.
Nadia, thank you so much. It's been really interesting and I've learned a lot. Just obviously we all have very different and specific areas and different businesses or services that we're offering. Just to kind of tailor make our one and try and get all our things working for us specifically if we are, I mean, I'm not very good at this. This is already new for me, even though I do post a lot, I'm not good at the ins and outs of it all. are you open to doing like 1 or 2 sessions, you know, personally one-on-one, just to like get everything going and set up? Is that something you do?
Definitely. And it's happening more and more now. I was telling Lisa last week that, I used to do a lot of the content strategy, creating the posts, putting posts together, creating the social media ads and the emailers. But what I'm finding now is that Facebook is changing and it's becoming more complicated. So it's getting harder for people to understand what to boost and what not to boost, etc. So what is happening now is I'm coming in to help businesses set up their business manager, to understand it better, to get all the right things in place, and then to help them with their social media ads and who to target. So 100%, that's something we can definitely do, and I would love that. And to be honest, training and working with people one-on-one is my favorite part of what I do. So
okay, great. Because I think one-on-one, or for me, I understand things easier one-on-one. And Lisa, I don't want to like get in the way of this, but maybe there is, I don't know how you know, putting up Nadia's details or whatever going forward. Thanks.
Perfect. Yeah. I think my email address is, I'll just put it in, I mean, it's in the email. Is hey Lisa? Yeah.
Okay, so thanks everyone for joining us this morning. And Nadia, once again, thank you for this incredible hour of just sharing really everything you know and just sharing it with abundance. So we are very grateful for that.